Good afternoon and welcome to Take Your Life Back Today show with Ralf Friedrichs. Today we're going to talk about Mexican oxy, how the oxycodone somehow is finding its way over the border, and it is arriving here up north. So we are going to talk about that, but a couple things I want to just bring out. The first thing is, as I always do, for the last 18 shows, today being the 19th, of Joel Osteen's 31 Promises to Make Throughout Your Lifetime. And I had said to you folks, my audience, I would do 31 shows and make one promise each show. Today is show 19 since that promise was dedicated to this show, and here it goes. Show 19. I declare there is an anointing of ease on my life. God is going before me, making crooked places straight. His yoke is easy and his burden is light. I will continually struggle. I will not continually struggle. What used to be difficult will not be difficult anymore. God's favor and blessing on my life has lightened the load and taken the pressure off me. This is my declaration. I want to read it again because I did stumble as usual. I declare there is an anointing of ease in my life. God is going before me, making crooked places straight. His yoke is easy and his burden is light. I will not continually struggle. What used to be difficult will not be difficult anymore. God's favor and blessing on my life is lightening the load and taking the pressure off me. This is my declaration for show 19. So pretty much 19 from 31. We have 12 more declarations for 12 more shows, and I have then reached the 31. That is not how many shows I've done. I believe we're up to 270 today. 270 shows since I first decided to create Take Your Lifetime, today's show with Ralf Friedrichs, and I welcome each and every one. As usual, I want to give out a couple shout outs to some sponsors. The first one is Dr. Luis Gonzalez from Starting Point. You can reach him at 844-414-8444. That's startingpointmn.com, startingpointmn.com. Dr. Luis Gonzalez will walk with you from your addiction to your recovery, hand in hand, 24 hours at a time, today and tomorrow. He will never, ever worry about your past or talk about it. He is not a counselor, nor is he a therapist. He is, like me, an addiction recovery coach. He actually created me becoming an addiction recovery coach, and that's the other side of the business, which I'm going to plug right now, which is if you have passion, personality, or professionalism, and you have some sort of addiction background, whether it's struggling with your own or possibly within your family, reach out to Dr. Luis Gonzalez at 844-414-8444. He has a great educational program, which I did take, and I did graduate, and he made me a master addiction recovery coach, and he can do the same for you. So all you need to do is call 844-414-8444 and ask for Dr. Luis Gonzalez, and you tell him that Ralf Friedrichs from the Take Your Life Back Today show sent you, and he will also get you going. Now, another sponsor is globaleyeglasses.com, where they are focused on saving you money. They have glasses starting at $6 and going up to possibly $49. That is for the frame, which include non-coated, single vision, regular RX plastic lenses. However, you can add things like transition. You can add photochromatic lenses. You can add anti-reflecting coating. You can add polarization. They can be single vision for distance of reading. They can be bifocals with a line to half a moon, or they can be progressives. That is all available at www.globaleyeglasses.com. That's www.globaleyeglasses.com, where they are focused on saving you money. Call them today or go on their website and get your glasses just in time for the holidays. Yes. Want to give a shout out also to my own websites. I have two, www.clearviews.info and www.clearreform.com. You notice both my websites start with the word clear. The reason for that is because CLEAR stands for Community Lessons in Power Addiction Recovery. It is you and I, my audience and myself, working together. Our lessons we exchange constantly will empower addiction recovery within our own community or in the global community, even in our TV or video community, I should say. Reach out to me at www.clearview.info, that's CLEARVIEWS.info, where everything is about information on addiction recovery. My other website, www.clearreform.com, is about reforming you, transforming you from the addiction side to the now new reformed you recovery side. Call me 844-405-HELP, 844-405-HELP, or you can text me 24/7 at 631-599-0218. I'm going to read this. This came directly from an article that I found in a Sober Nation magazine. Mexican Oxy is making its way up north. Last October, Victor Mendoza Chevron was broke, out of work, and living in Tijuana when he was approached by a man at a party asking him if he wanted to run some drugs up north for him. Mendoza, an American citizen by birth, said he told the man no, but the unnamed drug dealer was persistent. I didn't have to work and finally agreed to it, Mendoza told federal agents. He was promised $2,000 per delivery. Mendoza met with two people he said he didn't know and was given $300 to buy a cell phone and a train ticket on Amtrak to Denver, Colorado. Mendoza met the two people he said He then traveled to Los Angeles where he met another man he didn't know who put bundles into his duffel bag in his green, almost like a military bag. Mendoza was instructed to call a telephone number when he reached Raton to receive further instructions. Yeah, it's a tricky and dangerous game that Mendoza was playing. Stamped to look like oxycodone, the blue pills seized by DEA were filled with heroin, courtesy of the DEA, this information. But Mendoza never made it out of the train station in Albuquerque, where he was greeted by federal agents. He allowed his luggage to be searched and was arrested for transporting heroin after agents found the drugs in a green bag and inside a tennis shoe in a duffel bag. In all, agents found 5 oblong bundles of pills containing approximately 12,000 blue tablets. The pills were field tested positive for heroin. Mendoza's story is so common that these drug arrests hardly ever make the news unless challenged by civil liberties attorneys. But the drugs Mendoza was carrying for his unnamed boss were not common. The drugs were heroin pills, Mexican Oxy, knockoffs designed to look like pharmaceutical painkillers. When Drug Enforcement Administration and other agencies broke the back of the meth super labs throughout regulatory changes, the enforcement actions, the cartels set up their own labs south of the border, importing chemicals from Asia. When Colombian cartels couldn't meet the demand on the U.S. East Coast for white heroin, the Mexican cartels stepped up and began manufacturing their own heroin and then bringing it right up north, right into your own backyard. When fatal overdose rates from prescription opiate abuse among teens and teens who moved to heroin went through the roof, federal and state agencies spent years tightening regulations and increasing enforcement on prescription opiate abuse. So it stood to reason that the cartels would fill the growing gap in the illicit pharmaceutical market down below the border. And federal agents waited for Mexican Oxy to show up on the street. Meanwhile, Mendoza, the canary in the latest drug gold mine, pleaded guilty of possession to heroin with the intent to distribute and sentenced to 37 months in federal prison with recommendation that he take GED classes. U.S. Attorney Damon Martinez called Mendoza's case unique so far, but one that demonstrates the guilty of Mexican drug cartels. U.S. Attorney Damon Martinez says the cartels are able to move into whatever illegal market they feel that they want to get themselves into. Right now it shows that New Mexico being used as an artery for shipment elsewhere, he said. But the cartels are able to move into whatever illegal market they find. The bottom line is it's all about money and what else? Greed. Mendoza was a dead end, the very definition of a drug mule. He didn't know anyone and could provide no information to federal agents that would help them trace the source of drugs he was carrying. So the federal agents waited. They had waited almost a year when they found Mexican Oxy being sold in Camden, New Jersey, and Massachusetts. Not a lot, but enough to let agents know Mexican Oxy was in the States and on the streets in late September of last year. A chemical analysis of the pills seized in New Jersey found that they contain a combination of heroin and pharmaceutical morphine and phenytoin. It's a shame. I mean, simple progression. The dangers of illegal prescription opiates like oxycodone, the ease of addiction, and potential overdoses have been well documented. Any patient can be overprescribed, Martinez said in an interview. We've seen progression of addiction in people with no criminal backgrounds whatsoever. The progression is simple. The person starts out on prescription opiates for pain problems, moves into pill addiction, and then heroin where he or she no longer obtained the prescription opiates. Now authorities say they have new threat loomed in the illegal drug trade. It's Mexican Oxy, which is laced with heroin. A heroin-based drug manufactured to look like kickoff painkillers manufactured and sold in the U.S. Mexican criminal organizations have been making knockoffs of American pharmaceuticals like Viagra and other ones for many years. Increased regulations of opiate painkillers has led cartels into the market with knockoffs. Toby Talbot, the Associated Press, releases this information. And since the cartels have become expert in identifying market niches among American consumers, it was an expected development in some circles of the federal law enforcement. The motive for heroin-based knockoffs is money and greed. Heroin tends to be considerably cheaper than prescription pharmaceuticals, so the knockoffs sold at prescription pill prices have a higher profit margin. Typically in Albuquerque, a 30 milligram pharmaceutical opiate will sell on the street for $20 to $30 for a 4 to 6 hour high. The pills are taken orally, crushed and snorted, or crushed, heated in water, and used in IV or syringe. For a few grams of heroin can sell for $100 to $120 and normally lasts a single addict a few days if the addict isn't on a binge. Experienced heroin addicts can usually tell how pure or how hot the heroin is by taste, using a little before taking a full shot. Pill users rely on milligram amounts stamped on the pill, but that isn't necessarily reliable in Mexican drug cartel knockoffs. Questions abound. How much heroin is in each pill? How pure is the heroin in each pill? What other painkillers might be in each pill? Those are questions that have to be answered by someone. Focus our resources. This is the FDA. New Mexico ranks number 2 for the per capita overdose deaths, down from years being number 1, according to Centers for Disease Control, otherwise known as the CDC. The latest drug threat comes from as Martinez and his staff are in early discussions on developing programs to combat prescription opiate abuse and aiding existing programs. We're not going to prosecute our way out of the drug problem, Martinez said. We have to have strong prevention, education, and treatment programs set in place. Martinez said, as we find out we can help ongoing programs and start new ones to combat prescription drug abuse, we can then focus on resources on those individuals who move these types of drugs, otherwise known as drug mules, and have left a big impact on the movement of these drugs from south of the border to north. Folks, it is arriving in your backyard. It is arriving in my backyard. This is not a laughing matter. As much as the ISIS is moving from Mexico, for what I understand, so are drugs, but drugs have been moving all along. Watch out for the name, Mexican Oxy. Mexican Oxy is laced with heroin, made to look like prescription pharmaceutical pills, laced with a certain percentage, not fully effective, with a higher market value for profit. 12,000 blue tablets were caught or found in the bag of this marked, Mendoza fella. who didn't even want to transport this because he was hurting for money. He decided to do it for the $2,000, and now he'll be spending 37 months in jail because of this. We need to be careful of what our kids get their hands on. I understand, folks, we cannot watch and do everything in life, but we can do this. Listen to me for 1 second. We can start here. We can start in your home. I can start in my living room where I have all this beautiful Christmas stuff set up, but I can start right here. I can start and continue being the role model that God has designated parents and grandparents to be. We are to lead our children and our grandchildren by our actions. Lead by example. Don't smoke, drink, use profanity, or physically abuse. I'm saying don't do it at all, but if you do have to smoke, drink, and use profanity, do it away from your children and grandchildren. Lead by example. It starts in your home. Help your children write their chapters in their book of life. When children are born, until they're 18, every year is a new chapter in their book. You have to become co-author of their book of life. As you're writing your chapters, I'm on chapter 53 right now. As you're writing your chapters, you need to co-author their chapters between 0 and 18. Those chapters need to include respect for each other, respect for other people. They need to include love amongst your family and out in the real world. They need to include compassion. They need to include emotion. From 0 to 18, there are 18 chapters that you are personally accountable to help write. If you feel that you're running out of avenues on how to do that, reach out to God and let Him help guide and direct you. If you're sitting there watching me right now and you have an issue with drugs and alcohol, that is exactly why I do these videos. That is why I do this each and every day for you. Because when I help you, I help me. This is my recovery. When I sit in front of this camera telling you what I have done to get to where I am, it is for you to take that information and to work with it. If I could only show you what my life was before hitting rock bottom to what it is right now, it is like taking something and flipping it totally around. But it's not just because I said I'm not drinking anymore. It's because I said I am not drinking anymore, and I reached out to God for guidance and direction. And when God gives you guidance and direction, everything else falls into place. Things like physical changes. You become healthier. You feel better. Things like mental changes. You can think clear. Spiritual changes. And financial changes. All that will make you a well-balanced human. So the bottom line is that there are two entities to your recovery. The first one is to stop denying you have a problem, because you do. I am not against people that drink. I am against any drug abuse or drug usage. But I'm not against you if you're drinking. If you know how to handle one beer or a glass of wine a day, that is okay. But if you're like me, that was drinking just because you wanted to feel better, you are an alcoholic. If you're smoking crack, smoking pot, just to feel better, you are a drug abuser. It is now time to say, I do have a problem, Ralph. I need help, Ralph. And while you're doing that is to reach out to God and say, God, my life would not be so in pieces if I knew how to do this on my own. So that's why I'm asking you, God, to help me. Guide me. Direct me. Help me become the human that you, God, created during my first chapter in my book of life, which was between 0 and 1 year old. Then when you have decided that you want to help, you can reach out to me at 844-405-HELP. You can text me at 631-599-0218. You can go and Google search any AA in your location. You can Google search any rehab center, any treatment center in your location. And if that is something that might be a little hard for you to do, maybe you're not that great with computers, or the recovery's kind of making things foggy, reach out to me. I will do the groundwork to help you take your life back. But you know who I am. People that search me on Google or any other search engine know who I am. All those treatment centers that have my videos on there know who I am, but I do not know who's watching me. I do not know what problems that you have that I can help you with. But I do know one thing, that if you're out there and you're an alcoholic and you're addicted to drugs, I can help take your life back with a simple text, 631-599-0218. Simple phone call, 844-405-HELP, and I will help you from day one, as long as you want me to help you. But it takes you to make that first step. It does take you, and it has to start today. Folks, I say this all the time. I am not guaranteed to read another declaration tomorrow. I am not guaranteed that. I might not be here tomorrow. God might feel that today, December 13, 2014, is my last day on earth. And if that's the case, I will not be doing another video. I will not be doing anything else. But I do know that no matter what my last day on earth is that I have given my best to the end. Have you? Have you reached out to God? Have you reached out to get help for your drug abuse and your alcohol abuse? Because again, tomorrow's not guaranteed. Remember, while you're sitting in front of the TV watching me, or the computer, every breath that you're taking, someone else, somewhere else, is taking their last breath on earth. For every blink your eye does, someone else is closing their eye. That's why I am here to reach, to teach. I want to reach you, to teach you. And with God as my spiritual guider, or guide, he guides me and directs me, I want to reach also to preach to you, to tell you that God is there to help you step by step, day by day, for the rest of your time. But it takes you to make that commitment, and it takes you to make that phone call to someone. Get a hold of Dr. Luis Gonzalez at 844-414-8444 and tell him Ralph sent you. He will help you. He will help you. I can't emphasize the point more than I do that today is decision day for you, because tomorrow might not be there. And when people look at you, they will judge you on your last chapters of your book of life, because that's what they'll remember most. Do you want to be remembered as an alcoholic? Do you want to be remembered as a drug pusher or a drug abuser? Or do you want to be remembered that, yes, Ralph finally found help and changed and became better? I was watching Steve Wilkos yesterday, and I saw a daughter, no matter what people were trying to tell her that she needed help, she sat there and blamed her mother for her prostitution, for her drug abuse. And I said to myself, I will never ever blame my mother or my father for any of my shortcomings. Because at the end of the day, folks, you are accountable for you. No matter what upbringing you are, no matter what the environment was in your household, you have a choice for change. So let December 13th, 2014, be the day that you choose a new life. A life without alcohol, a life without drugs, a life with a spouse and family intact, a life that has financial recovery because you've been using all your money on drugs and alcohol, a life that has spiritual recovery because you kind of, in your drug, foggy, alcoholic days, kind of lost track of who created you. That God is sitting in heaven waiting for you to reach out. Because more than anything in the world, God wants you to be up there at your end of time. It took me a lot of years to realize that what I am saying to you right now is the truth. A lot of years. A lot of years I denied the fact not only that I was an alcoholic, but that God directs and guides me no matter what I do. God will direct and guide you when you admit you have a problem and you ask for direct guidance. Because in the meantime, He will just let you sit there and He will watch every move that you make. And sometimes He will let things happen bad for you to realize that you do need to go to Him. Please, December 13th, 2014, let that be the first day of your new life. Reach out to someone. It doesn't have to be me. Reach out to a sponsor in AA. Reach out to a pastor, a reverend. Reach out to your spouse. Reach out to your parents. Reach out to your children. But reach out and tell someone that you have a problem and you need help. You are not alone in the fight. You're not alone. The minute you say you have a problem and you reach out to God, people will come to your aid if you let them. If you refuse to let people help you and you refuse to reach to God, I will tell you this because I went through it. It is just a matter of when, not if, but when. Something so bad will happen that you will then smarten up and do it. In my case, is that I almost lost everything. Because of foolishness, because of drinking too much, because of drinking every single day to get drunk. I was a working alcoholic, like Len Beck, Morton Downey. The list goes on. It could be your postman, your mailman. It could be a cop. It could be a reverend. It could be a politician. Alcohol and drugs is so silent within each and every human that consumes it that if the human can deal with it, you'll never know they have a problem until it's too late. For example, actors. You read about them, you hear about them, they OD'd. And you say to yourself, didn't even know they had a problem. Or you hear about someone that slams into a telephone pole, killed themselves because of DV. Worse than that, how about they run their car into a person or another car? They took a lethal weapon while they were drunk, were on drugs, and killed innocent people. Folks, it is that simple that you need to reach out, and I can't emphasize it any more than I have. Please, I beg of you, before it's too late, to reach out and get the help that you need. Don't become a statistic of overdose. Don't become a statistic of DWI. Don't become a statistic of going to jail. Speaking of jail, if you're in jail watching me, there is hope. If you're in a homeless shelter watching me, there is hope. No matter where you are watching me, there is hope. But that hope is within you when you reach out to God and ask for guidance and direction. And you take care of the issue that you have, which is either alcoholism or drug abuse or maybe even both. But there is hope. As long as you know there is hope and you want change, it will happen. But you need to let the walls that are protecting or keeping change away from you down. Let change come into your life. Let God come into your life. Remember this, folks. A sober today, yes, a sober today, I guarantee you, will guarantee you give you a better tomorrow. But it has to be a sober today. And then another sober day gives you another day and the chain reaction. But every time you get drunk and every time you use drugs, you're not guaranteed not to OD or drive into a person or into a telephone pole. So start today. Let the sunshine into your heart and into your home, and you will get nothing but positive results. Keep the naysayers and the negative people away from you, especially during early recovery. What you need is only positive people around you during early recovery. Reach out to anyone. 844-405-HELP is my number, and I am here to help you. Text me 631-599-0218, and remember this, that I am here to help take your life back. May God bless you. Have a great day, but more importantly, have a sober day.